Welcome to another Luminar Coffee Break. I'm your host, Vanelli. Now, our topic today is how to add creativity to a portrait. Now, what usually happens is we, the photographers, we get bored with our own style or the stuff that we do way before our clients or other people do, because we're used to doing it every single day, or it doesn't seem like a challenge to do anymore. You can just walk in, you set the gear up, you take the shots, you have it down, it's perfect. It's just so simple, you get bored with it. As photographers, we can't let that boredom come in. What we need to do is when we start to feel like we're getting bored or in a rut with our creativity, alter it just a bit. And each time you change it up just a bit, it gets better and better each time. Now, I'm going to show you the example here before we get started. So here is what we're going to end up with. This is the image we're going to start with. So I started with the sports grit look, and then we decided to add rain to this image. We'll talk a little bit more about that. And I changed it up little by little, and all of a sudden I have a totally new lighting setup and a new style that I can work from. So so to help with our creativity, we start with our base and we build upon it. Now, before we begin, let's just take a moment and want to thank our partner, Fujifilm, for helping make this possible. And the message they want to give is stay safe, stay creative, and of course, for now, stay at home. And there we are. So I'm going to switch gears for a little bit and just show you. One moment. I'm going to pull up a shot that I did for you. Let's see. We'll go here. And I'll share my screen. All right, here we are. All right, so this was one of the original articles I've written. It was the Knights of Constantinople, and it's how I got the shot. So this was one right here. This lighting setup kind of paved the way for me. So this lighting paved the way for me on a lot of the stuff that I've been creating. So I started with this lighting setup. Hey, how you doing, bud? And welcome. So I started with this lighting setup, which was a 2-strip box off to the side, and then a beauty dish coming in the front. Well, this turned into the Fencing Prince, it turned into the Aviator, it turned into the Assassin series, and of course it turned into the grit looks that you're going to be seeing with all slight alterations. So this was the base that started it all. I used a small light source here, and like we said earlier, a smaller light source is going to produce harsher light, and that's what we needed to get the uniforms of the athletes to look really crisp and intense. So what I'm getting at is I started from this shoot here. And if you want, you can just look up here, and you can just at the end of the show, if you want to read the article, the URL is up on top. But I started with that, and I produced this effect with it, all right? And then I used the concept of this to be creative with my sports grit. So let's get right into the sports grit look. So here we are, and I'm going to start all the way to the beginning. All right, a little bit further. There we are. So here's a nice baseball player. His name is Mick. The kid's extremely talented. We brought him out. We created a rain machine out of PVC pipes. Late at night, we threw a black curtain behind him. And after we started photographing this, it really started to rain. So we only had a few minutes to get the shot. All right. So here we are with the look. The first thing I want to do is I'm going to click on the looks button. And I'll go to the dramatic collection. Ready for this? I'll click dramatic look. Boom. We're 2/3 of the way there already. So let's analyze what dramatic does. Okay, so it adds light, the tool, it adds vignette tool, and of course it adds dramatic. Now, with dramatic, notice right here, let me put the pointer on for you. With dramatic, if you click on advance, you'll notice it does a lot of saturation. And that's what gives it the dramatic look. But for this scene, let's take that saturation and just bring it up a little bit. There we go. Now, he's looking great. I like what I'm seeing with him here. The back is what we're going to work with next. So the dramatic look, or the dramatic tool, did its job. Now, let's come up to light, advanced, and let's enrich the blacks. Now, when I enrich the blacks here, I'm going to bring out a little more of the shadows. Good. I like that. Now he's looking a little oversaturated. So let's come down to color. See if there's a color cast. Nope, we're good with the color cast. But I do want to bring the saturation down just a little bit. And we'll pump up the vibrancy. All right. Well, let's do it here. I'm going to toggle this on and off. Good. It's just that slight little difference that's making it look better. All right. Now, I do want to do something with this background. So, I'm sorry, let's come up here to the AI accent. And let's see what this does for us. This is making it a little bit brighter, which is fine, which means I can come back and bring this down a little bit. Good. Oh, I know what it is. Let's do the smart contrast. There we go. Look at that. So I'm getting the contrast that I like. And now notice it's going to be back and forth. We're going to be tweaking one change and then go back to another change. So back to color. Desaturate just a little bit more. There we go. All right, good. I'm liking that. And for a vignette, let's go to an extreme just so we can see what we're doing. I want to choose Mick right here as if we put a spotlight right on him. All right. So I got the spotlight effect going. Now I can bring it back. And good, there's the feathering. Good. All right. Before, after. Okay, it's looking good. A little more. Right about there. All right, good. I'm liking it. Now, I'm looking at it, and I really want, I like how the black is, but I want the black to be more blue. So if I would have, what I wish I would have done is put a blue gel on that light, and the light, the raindrops, would have been blue. So, again, problem solving, go to the advanced tools, and I'll go to the photo filters. Now the photo filter is going to give me that ability to convert the entire image to a set color. Now notice the preserve luminosity. If I turn it off, everything is the same. If I turn it on, it respects the highlights. All right? Let's dial it in. Ooh, right. Ooh, look at the blues coming right about there. Great. So I like how the blue is looking on the back, not so much on him. That's fine. Click on the edit mask. Now we're going to brush and we're going to erase at, let's go maybe 80%. And I'm going to come right over Mick. There we go. And if I go out, which we'll go back in a second, the bottom I like. I'm going to leave that alone. Good. That's it. And I'm using a pen, and what I'm doing, like I mentioned many times, is I'm flicking it here. That's it. Good. Now, by doing what I just did, I'm gonna have to come back in just a little bit with a paint. That's it. And we got it. All right, so let's see what that did. Before, after. Look at that. So that little trick, right there. So that little trick, look what it just did for us. It gave us the ability to add that bluish tint to something I wish I did during the shoot itself. All right, so I'm like extremely close to finishing where we are, but you know what? Let me go back to this for one moment. Brush. Nope, okay, we're good here. So that was a specular highlight. And just bring a little bit in. There we go. That little piece right here had me wondering. We're fine. All right. Let's use the advanced contrast. And let's see what we could do with just the highlights. Good. And what about the midtones? We'll balance it out. And of course the shadows. Good. All right, let's see what that does. All right, very little, but I can definitely see it's making a slight change. All right, so I'm liking what it's doing. His ear's kind of killing me a little bit. Right in here, notice this? So this looks really good. This was a little too dark. So let's use Dodge and Burn. And I want to select, start painting, darken, and let's start at a low number. I'm going to use the bracket keys, left and right bracket. What that's doing is it's making the brush size bigger or smaller. There we go. That's a little too much. All right, well, that's way too much. So I have a choice. I can either erase it or just lower the opacity over here. And that's what we'll do. I'll lower the opacity, and then I want to erase just this little crease. There we go. All right. Before, after. I was just a little itty bit that'll help out. Good. All right. So here we go. We started with this, and then we're finishing with this right here. All right. So there we have it. We added just a little different flair to the creativity. Now, keep in mind, when you do something like this, you're going to get people saying, like my good friend Mike Cabasi, who's a huge baseball fanatic, but not only baseball's not played in the rain. Exactly. That's why I did this. Because the average person, or not the average person, but a player that's really dedicated and intense is going to practice in that rain, is going to do what it takes to become the best player they can. That's just one way of interpreting it. He said BS, doesn't like it. So that's okay. That's his opinion on it. As long as you like your creativity and you like where it's heading, you'll be fine. All right? So I hope that answers your question. I hope that helped with your creativity with your portraits. So when you find yourself getting in a rut, take the base of something you've already loved to do and modify that slightly to make it a different style, and it'll increase your creativity. Now, if you like what we're doing, please give us a thumbs up and make sure you join us on the next Luminar Coffee Break.